that's what I just kind of wanted to go over and show you. First thing is we have a way, and it's become very, very common with the economy, that people require some kind of a deposit before you place an order with the vendor, before you ship, things like that. So we have a new way, or actually it's technically two different ways, that we can create a deposit invoice for a customer on sales order issued. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys that quick. So here, I'm going to show you how to create a sales order, but under my customer, I think Fresh Berry, because I love food. Yes, so I'm going to create a sales order for Fresh Berry, and I am going to add my product. Okay, and actually while we're in the screen, I don't know how many of you have seen this add multiple products button. I love this thing, it's great. If you're creating a sales order for more than one product, instead of typing it or using the scan individually, you can use this, scan and select all the little check boxes and add them all in at once. It saves you a lot of time if you're doing a great deal of products. So it's one of our little fun things. Some of you I think have seen it or might actually be using it. Anybody using it? Yeah, you guys are.
Change it, we tried it, but we go through and pick up and it doesn't put it in the order afterwards. So we shuffled the deck. That was problems. The rest of the things will take changes. No. Same.
Okay, so I'm going to add this for just 100 pieces and move on here. Make it decent. Okay. The other thing, actually, Daniel brought up yesterday, is that we have the ability to automatically save the ship to address to the customer ship to tab so that you don't have to retype it every time you get select from it. So it looks to see if that address exists in that exact way. So that's the one little trick things you need to make sure your format's the same. But it checks to see if it's there. If it's not, it adds it. Makes life really easy. Don't we also have one that it auto-populates the first address?
Sure.
It auto-populates the first ship to address from the tab, also in here, if you wanted to do that as well. So click assign. The big thing I wanted to show you is here under pricing payment terms. There's two differences, two ways we can set this up. This one is set up based on the payment term. So based on a 50% prepayment payment term, we're going to automatically create a deposit invoice for 50% of the amount of the sale. There's also another way where we can add a field for you to type in the actual amount that you're going to require a deposit for. Some people actually don't have a percentage for their term, so it's just easier for them to type in an amount. So that's the one little variation. For this, I'm going to cheat. I don't really have to show you guys how to do sales orders. So if we look now, my sales order is 1049. It is issued, and the total of that sales order was $450. If I come to finances and invoicing, you will see that I have invoice number 4071 for an amount of $225 against that sales order. So then you could just pop open the document, send it to the customer, post it, etc. The fun part about this whole thing is after you actually are shipping it and you allocate it. Let me know if I'm going too fast. When you come in here, this is one of the places I just wanted to show you here is, some of you might have it, some of you might use it. Carla, or actually Union, I think you use it, is the create delivery for all new releases. If you check this checkbox, when you click proceed, what it will do is it will automatically put any items that were in this screen on the sale that you had selected to be released to logistics at this time. It He'll take all of those items and throw it into a delivery for you. If you have your delivery numbers auto-numbered, it brings you right to the delivery information page. If you enter your own delivery number, it brings you to the create screen where you can type it in. I think we actually have
default check.
Yeah, absolutely. That was actually what I was going to say, is that we can default that for you to be checked all the time, or it can be unchecked so you have the option. The other thing is, tell me if I'm crazy actually. On the proceed click, we can actually create the delivery notes for them if they want it to be specific. Or am I crazy? You think I'm crazy? I'm crazy. Well, we all know this, right? Anybody that knows me knows that. So, okay. So the big thing on this is, if you want this checked by default, we can do that for you. Save you guys a little bit of time. But the fun thing about the fact of checking that and clicking proceed is I counted it one day. It saves you 6 button clicks from creating a delivery, putting the items in, and things like that. So, it's crazy that I counted that, but I did. So you can see here that it brought us right to our delivery page. It has the item in the delivery. Mine was auto-numbered, so I didn't have to put anything, select anything. So this is great. Another feature that I just want to talk about, because we're kind of talking about automation, and we're in the delivery screen, is we have the ability to auto-allocate on in-transit. So if you guys are using pre-allocation, and actually I want to talk to you guys about this because you have this now, is that on in-transit, if your stuff is pre-allocated, we can auto-allocate and put it in a delivery and jump you to the screen as well. So it can be container-driven as well, rather than sales order site-driven, which is kind of pretty cool. Saves you a little time. If you guys are using contracts, it's awesome because your stuff is pre-allocated out the gate. And that's another thing. We have a feature on contract issue. If any of you guys use contracts and anything in that specific contract goes into one container, on contract issue, we can auto-create your container and put the ventures on that contract into a container for you and number it, etc. So that's another one.
The allocate right there to at the contract level.
Contract auto pre-allocates, because a contract is a one-to-one, exact. So it auto pre-allocates on the back end.
So if I have a direct container, I rather you send me, or I should just go contract.
As long as it's one customer to one vendor and the order is exact, you can use contracts. And on issue, we can set it up to auto-create the
And
container.
inventory, everything, cost, everything will calculate.
Yeah, that all happens on in-transit. Anything that happens naturally on in-transit would happen when the container is created and put in transit. So that's actually kind of a fun thing.
I think you guys can use that too. So at least once you create the contract, you automatically put it in a container and ship it.
Well, some of us are, especially for global, moving away from contracts just because a lot of the times things will change in the middle. Like sometimes they'll want a different stone and they'll have to change, or they want to switch out an item or change the quantity. In contracts, it's hard to go in and change one thing because it won't really let you. If you want to change something on the sales order, it'll let you consult pre-allocated and all that type of stuff. So some people will just create the sales order, but a lot of times for admin, we'll do contracts.
So coming back here, I just wanted to show you under links, last part of my spiel. Doesn't look like anybody's sleeping or snoring yet, so we're good. In the ship and invoice page here, there's 3 things I wanted to show you. Is expand that. You can see that we have added a miscellaneous charge negating the amount that you required on deposit. You don't have to do the math, nothing like that. We detected the fact that this was a sales order, etc., and that this is the amount that you required on a deposit invoice. So it does the math for you so that now when you ship an invoice, the customer is going to be looking, you can see here, your invoice total is $225. So it takes the amount less the deposit, makes your life easy, saves you a little bit of time hopefully in the end. The other 2 things I wanted to show you are down here at the bottom are these 2 options. Again, we can default them to checked or unchecked. Again, a little time saver. If you wanted to see the invoice document pop up on ship an invoice button click, we can do that. Serves two purposes. Sometimes you don't want users to have access to the finances part of the system, but you want them to have the invoice doc to print or etc. But also it just saves you a little time if you don't want to go to the finances menu and click and go into invoice maintenance, hit view document. It saves you some clicks. And the last piece here is the go to invoice maintenance. Do you want to jump to invoice maintenance to edit this invoice immediately? So we can default either of those or both to checked or unchecked. They're all, unchecked by default anyway. But those are the fun little things that we